This week, we are going to be taking a look at JavaScript events. And so far, we have been using event handlers embedded into our HTML tags. That is one way of handling events. There are a couple other techniques we can use, and the industry standard is actually event handlers and listeners, which you will be learning this week. So you will be learning how to code DOM events in addition to event handlers and listeners. So to prepare for the week, you are going to want to complete the reading assignment. So for those of you with the textbook, it is chapter 6. And for those of you using the web resources, I've included links here. You will notice that I also included links to the browser object model because we will be taking a look at that as well. Once you are done with the reading, you are going to move on to work through the lecture on JavaScript events. We kind of start out with a little review of what we know so far, and then a little summary of kind of where we're going. And there are videos throughout the lecture that you can watch that will walk through all of the code with you, explain all the concepts. And so the first video is here. And I did try to kind of refresh your memory on how we have been handling events with a live example here for you to play with. And then I used the same example to illustrate the new techniques that we will be working with. So this is the same example, but now we are using the DOM properties with the event instead of embedding the event in our HTML tag. Okay, so the net result here is the same. We got a fun little button that changes colors, okay, but it's just two different ways of achieving that result. Okay, and then we get into the third way, which is event handlers and listeners. So as you are working through this, you will be exposed to the different ways of handling events. And then as you go through here, you'll learn about anonymous functions. And then we get into the event object. When an event occurs, and literally everything that you do in your browser is an event. The scrolling that I have been doing, this is an event. Okay, I'm using the wheel. So scrolling with the wheel is an event. So literally everything is an event. And so we kind of take a look at the different types of events. And our focus a lot is on using event handlers and listeners just because that is considered standard. And then we get into some browser object model properties and events. And we've already used some of these already. Okay, the set interval, clear interval, those are familiar to you. You'll notice that I've got this fun little interactive one where you can stop the time. And here's one where it'll do the print window for us. Okay, all sorts of fun little goodies in here for you. So as you go through here, you'll be learning more about the properties and the events for the browser object model. And then as we get down towards the bottom here, you are going to learn how to do a little DOM animation. Okay, and there is some code that I go through in this particular video, in addition to a fun little example. Okay, and I've named the monkey Zeppo. So there are buttons, that you can click, and we can move Zeppo around in his little jungle. And then the coordinates, the X and the Y coordinates display. We can even make little Zeppo dance. Oops, let's move Zeppo up. I know it kind of looks like he's having a seizure, but he's supposed to be dancing. So the code used for Zeppo is here, and the video explains what the code is doing. So that is the lecture demo. And once you finish that, you're going to move on to the programming assignment. So the programming assignment has a couple different tasks. The first one, you are going to download the wind chill calculator, and you'll right-click on that and save it into your Lesson5 folder. And there is a JavaScript file that goes with it, a CSS, and a JPEG graphic, along with some fonts. And so you will be downloading all of those. There is a video that you can watch that actually, this video walks you through task 2 and task 3, because both of those involve the wind chill factor. And basically what you're going to be doing is the wind chill factor right now has HTML events in it. Okay, so you'll see we have on-click events. Okay, and then you'll see we have an on-load event. Okay, and so you are going to be changing those. So you are going to be using DOM property for the page loading, and you are going to be using event handlers and listeners for the others. Okay, and this does work. So, I mean, you can test this out and calculate it. And this is the fun fonts. So yes, that is depressing. Let's do warmer temperatures. Yeah, so we don't really have a wind chill there. So um, let's see, wind speed. Let's make it warmer. So you're melting there. Anyway, I had to show you that. That's fun. That is the first exercise, doing that conversion. And I think once you convert the on-click events to the other types, it will help you understand it a little bit better. And then what you're going to do is the wind chill function, which is in the JavaScript file, you're going to convert to an anonymous function. Okay, and so again, this video kind of walks you through that process. Then we have task number 4, and Zeppo's world, which I showed you earlier. Here's our little monkey, little friend here. You are going to create your own version of Zeppo's world. Okay, and so the video in the lecture demo explains all of the code, and so you are going to be creating your own. And so this little video is the same one that was in the lecture demo, so you certainly can watch that. And then you'll be creating your own version. This last task involves using the browser object model events and properties. So you are going to create a new web document. You're going to call it BOM events. And you're going to apply styling to your page, and the document can be whatever you want. Okay? And so you'll do the styling in a separate CSS file. And what you need to include in your page are 2 window object methods, a location object method. You need to display the window information using window object properties, display navigator information using navigator object properties, display location information using location object properties, history information, and screen information. You need to do all of this in the page. So you can do the content on whatever you want. In fact, if you want to reuse one of your previous pages for content, that is fine. Okay, you can add buttons for all of these other things. You should use DOM property event handling or event handlers and listeners. Do not use the on-click HTML attributes. You're going to need to test the code to make sure it works. I have lots and lots of examples in the lecture. And so I've got a lot of examples in separate pages as well. So, you can kind of pull these up, take a look. So this is doing the create the window. So here it is. Let me move it, close the window. Okay. If I create a window, I can change the dimensions and I can resize it. Okay. So all of these are interactive. So you can kind of take a look and incorporate all of these into your own page. I have them on separate pages to kind of highlight the information that you're learning, but you're going to put those on one page. And the easiest way to implement this is by using command buttons. Okay, so at the bottom here is a summary of how you're going to be graded. And if you do run into any problems, make sure you transfer the page to the web and kind of send me an email, and then I can go take a look and I can help you. After you finish the assignment, I'm going to enter done in the Dropbox and move on to the discussion. The discussion this week is on the impact of design on website appeal. One of our learning outcomes is to explain how well-designed sites impact website appeal. So to address that, you're going to research how well-designed interactive features increase website appeal. Based on what you read, tell me what well-designed means to you. Indicate which interactive features increase site appeal and which decrease site appeal. And then think about what types of design are appropriate for different types of content. Then what I want you to do is select a type of website and describe what designs you prefer for that type. Types of sites could be blogs, online stores, informational pages, portfolios, corporate websites, art sites, literally anything that's on the web. Provide at least one example of a site that you like within the category you selected. And then once everybody's posts are up, you should reply to 2 of your classmates. So I did do an example here for you to look at. Kind of defined what a well-designed site should have. And then I took a look at artist websites, which is really a type of retail site. I mean, it might also be a gallery, which is informational, but I specifically focused on the retail ones. And indicated what the focus should be, what I thought was good designs. And then I included a link to a site that I think is super cool. And this artist does a really, really good job of having a creative interactive site, but not losing a focus on the artwork or the fact that she has work for sale. So I think she does a really good job. Anyway, so you guys are going to be doing something similar. If you have any questions or if you run into problems, please let me know and have an awesome week.